Dr. J here. Today I've had a lot of questions about intermittent fasting and symptoms. So we're going to kind of trickle through 5 symptoms of intermittent fasting. And then if you stick with me at the end, we'll go through ways to avoid the symptoms altogether. Okay? So here we go. Number 1 is pretty much everything in the body needs the nervous system and the hormones to be controlled, or a variation of both of them together. So the first symptom would obviously be hunger. Okay, so hunger starts with seeing food, hearing it being prepared and cooked, smelling food, saliva in the mouth, okay, and digestive juices in the stomach being started. And all of that is called the cephalic phase, or the brain phase of digestion, okay? So it's triggered by our senses, our level to be hungry, okay? And so another phase is learned response of eating, okay? So we have a learned response that we are used to. Example would be at 7:30 in the morning, you have breakfast every day. Well, before you start eating, your body has begun to digest that food because it's learned response that every day at 7:30 in the morning, Johnett's going to have a great breakfast, okay? And so that is a learned response. And what has to occur is that we have to unlearn the learned response. Does that make sense? Here's a few tips to help you shift out of your learned responses, okay? Okay, so the first tip is you don't want to just jump on a long fast, okay? You don't go from no fasting to 18 hours. It can be pretty difficult. Some of you like to just be a bull in a china shop and jump on board and do it all, which is great if you can. However, it's okay to go slow. You don't have to be, more isn't always better, is what I tell my patients. Everyone wants to get from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds, and it just doesn't happen. So go slow, okay? So if you're used to sleeping 8 hours and you get up and you eat within 2 hours of your day, maybe try to back it out. You're eating at an hour or 2, or go all the way to work in your first break, then break your fast. So you can build to 18 hours, okay? So that is tip 1. Be gentle with yourself, okay? You don't have to do it all in a matter of moments, okay? The second tip would be get away from food. Do not be around food. Makes perfect sense, right? So you have to shift your learned response, get away from food, okay? Walk away from your kitchen, go do something else. Also, you can, another tip would be to avoid boredom, okay? Go work out. Sounds good. Go for a walk, read a book, spend more time, more quiet time, nourish yourself, okay? So those are some tips to move out of being hungry, because you're gonna have waves of hunger, and those waves last 20 to 30 minutes. So you have to plan in advance how you're gonna overcome the hunger, because you are not starving yourself, okay? You literally aren't, because we all have extra fat stores we're trying to burn off here, okay? So be patient with yourself. Okay, so the second symptom, number 2 symptom would be fatigue, brain fog, lightheadedness, hangry. All of those are grouped together. And the reason is they come from the same root generally, okay? And one is low blood sugar, okay? Hypoglycemic. Number 2 would be you are not yet fat adapted, okay? And so we're going to just look at hypoglycemia here for a minute. My example before is you were used to eating at 7:30 in the morning, and so all of those insulin's being released, just not as much because there's no food obviously, but still being released because of the learned response. You're getting ready for digestion, okay? And so that can cause you to go into hypoglycemia. Also, if you're a diabetic and you're taking insulin, and you're doing intermittent fasting, we're going to have a bit of a problem, because you do not need to go into hypoglycemia, because it can be very, very severe Okay, so when you're a diabetic, you have to get a little coaching from your MD on how to manage your blood sugar levels and your amount of insulin. Also, high blood pressure medication. So when you're on high blood pressure medications, you can drop your blood sugar just doing intermittent fasting. So you need medical advice as how to do that. So seek medical advice for that, okay? That's good. That would be really good. Okay, so when we are doing the fasting, your body is not metabolically flexible to go to, especially when we begin, period, when we begin. Okay, so you're not metabolically ready to do, to switch flexible. You're not flexible to go from stop sugar burning to fat and ketone burning, which is our goal, okay? So you have to be patient with yourself because you will get there for sure. You will get there, but your body is needing a little bit of a boost. One way to do it is to exercise, okay? Because that'll help get rid of the brain fog and the fatigue. And the other is to just stop your fast. You can do that, okay? Again, marathon, not a sprint here. We are doing things that you build into your life so that it becomes your new normal and your new learned response, okay? So either of those will definitely help. The exercise, if you're adding your exercise in, like I just mentioned, if you're doing too much, too fast, and too soon, perhaps you only need to do one item at a time, meaning do I want low carbs here? Do I want to intermittent fast? And do I want to exercise and reduce my stress and get better sleep? Am I going to do it all at one time, or am I going to add one thing slowly is what I mean here. And then the brain fog will drop off, okay? Because it may be just too much, too fast for you to adapt to that. Okay, and so now the next symptom is the mighty change in our bowel movements. For some, it'll be constipation. For others, it'll be diarrhea, okay? And so this comes because anytime you change your diet, those things occur, okay? So your microbiome has to be, now has to redevelop and figure out where it's gonna land here. And one of the ways you do that is increase your fluid intake, and then you increase your fiber intake, okay? Does that make sense? So you're gonna increase water here because you need 0 calories, okay? So 0 calories means coffee, tea, water, okay? And so that's important. Then you have to increase your fiber intake so that your bowels slow down or speed up, and fiber does both of those, and everyone's a little different for their combinations, a little different. Feel free to message me and ask me questions about how much fiber, because everyone's different depending on their weight and severity of different illnesses that we've gone through, okay? So anyway, fluids and fiber help reduce the change in your diet from intermittent fasting. So lots and lots and lots of water. I can't establish that enough. Do not use tap water. It's just the truth, okay? Okay, so the number 4 symptom of intermittent fasting can be heartburn, okay? Again, it comes with your learned responsive eating. So when you go to eat, you are hungry and all your stomach juices get filled, you know, because it's ready for food. And so there'll be a time, a little bit of time here as you're learning, as your body is moving into metabolic flexibility to burn fat and ketones for fuel, your stomach will release its normal gastric juices, and whereby it can give you esophageal reflux or, you know, heartburn, so they call it, okay? So that's okay. You'll move out of it. However, if you're increasing your fluids with coffee, it can also give you esophageal reflux, okay? And so we don't want to be overdoing it with the coffee, whereby causing us to have heartburn, if you get the picture, right? Okay, so number 5 symptom I get is people feel cold, okay? Hypothermia. Okay, so just know that you are not starving yourself and your metabolism isn't going in the tanker here. It's not happening. Actually, your metabolism is actually increasing, okay? And so of all the research I could find, I personally get chilly when I start an intermittent fasting. And the reason for that is I metabolically and research-wise, there's no 100% guarantee on the reason, except for what they found in a study with mice, where they caused the mice to go into hypothermia, and orexin was released in the brain, okay? And orexin is used for fat metabolism. So, that being said, that was mice, so I just want to reiterate, you need to warm yourself up. So one of the ways that I do that, a nice hot mug of water, and I put an oil in it, the lemon oil, or sometimes I'll use lime oil, essential oils, or pomegranate oil. And the reason is I want the antioxidant burst, but I don't want the calories, because I want to stay at 0 carbs coming in during an intermittent fast, right? And so that, or wrap up in a blanket, so that pretty much wraps up the 5 symptoms, okay? And so now we want to know, how are we not going to have the symptoms at all, okay? So real quick, we're going to go through that, okay? So stop doing everything all at once, okay? Just stop it. Again, the bull in the china shop. Slow down. Add 1 item of the 5 ways to reduce insulin on my other video, okay? You can just slow down and start slow. Start your intermittent fasting slow. Maybe it's just 12 hours. Maybe it's 14. Maybe it's 16. Whatever works for you. Just applaud yourself for taking the next step. It's awesome, okay? All right, and then the second would be, number 2 would be get nourished. Nourish your body. Get some foundational things in your diet. Fiber, a multivitamin and mineral, very, very essential. Probiotics, extremely important for you. Nourish yourself. Take time to slow down your pace, okay? Very important. And number 3 would be eat real food. Okay, eat real food. You want healthy, good food, high nutrient dense food. What does that look like? Well, Google it and you will know. Nutrient dense food, and it'll give you a list, and there you go. And you can start there. You can park your life on nutrient dense foods. Okay, and then number 4 would be low carbohydrate diet, low carb diet. Okay, we're going to become really great at carb dodging. Okay, because carb dodging decreases your insulin level, normalizes your blood sugar level, and increases, yes, glucagon from your liver to burn fat and ketones as fuel. Okay, so you're going to become metabolically flexible. So hooray! So thank you for allowing me to help you take your next step together towards health. And I hope this blessed you today. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell to get notified every time I put a video up. Bless you. Enjoy your day.